find out what has been achieved. There are a few areas that I'm sure you would want to think your office and the presidency, the vice president, would want to consider. For example, the reports that the Federal Road Safety still has about close to 70,000 unclaimed driver's licenses that have been printed. Now, this is one very issue when it comes to vehicles licenses, registration. This is a part of doing business, really. If folks don't go back to road safety and collect their driver's licenses, that's an issue there. So ease of doing business, what further areas are you stepping into or being considered to be worked on very quickly?
We also work on paying taxes, ease and speed of paying your taxes, online filing and online registration. We work on entry and exit of people, the visa on arrival. Also right now, as at yesterday, the airports are cashless. That means every government revenue that should be paid at the airports, there should be no cash being collected. It's all going to be automated, also to reduce rent-seeking opportunities. So every payment from customs, immigration, quarantine services, those will all be cashless. Let me see.
I just asked a question about the road safety licenses. Licensing is one issue. As simple as a driver's license is, that's still, why do we still have that amount of numbers of uncollected driver's licenses?
Well, actually, I wouldn't know because I collected my driver's license. I got the text and I went to pick it up. So I think also if people have applied, they have their temporary licenses. By the time the temporary one expires, it should be ready. I went through the regular process and I got it. Probably if there are specific concerns, particularly with the business climate, that people have issues with, we're open for feedback. We have a Pt.2 portal. We have 9 agencies on that portal right now, including FAN, Immigration, Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Police, and a number of agencies. So if you just go on Pt.report, we welcome the feedback. One thing is that sometimes people take to social media, sometimes people send us complaints, but don't particularly want to put the feedback in a manner that we can take action. So I tend to encourage private sector in particular that if we're going to make this meaningful change and if there's going to be sustainability, we need your support. We need you to name and shame specifically the issues with details so that we can actually track and make sure that there's consequence management where things that we have said we have done are not being done. The Executive Order 1 was specifically signed to underpin some of these reforms and basically make them accountable, for public and civil servants to be accountable to implement them. We've gone through a number of things. Some of them are World Bank indicators, and you saw that our ranking went up. But even beyond that, we're most concerned about the impact that SMEs are receiving from this business climate reforms. So we're actually coming later this month to the first anniversary of the Executive Order 1, and you have things like the interface at the airports and at the seaports being work in progress, but we're progressively trying to make sure that the way we deliver services as public and civil servants to the Nigerian business community in particular is consistent, is disciplined, is fast, is cost effective. You know the procedures, you know the documentation you need, you know who is accountable, you know where to send your feedback. Those are what we feel are going to underpin this very important legacy reform for this administration.
Dr. Oduwole, the issues around ease of doing business, yes, doing business with Buhari is one thing, but again, the World Bank team of 10 executive directors just in the country a few days ago, and I'm sure you were part of those meetings, or you had a briefing from the VP and the rest of the top government officials. What exactly is the World Bank team asking Nigeria to do in the areas of ease of doing business?
The World Bank team are very, very excited about the way Nigeria has tackled ease of doing business since 2015. In January 2016, the delegation came and had the first meeting with the Vice President that actually signaled this partnership and collaboration, Nigeria being open for business. These reforms are part of our economic recovery and growth plan. under the competitiveness pillar, you have the hard infrastructure and the soft infrastructure, which is ease of doing business. The World Bank have been watching us very closely and are happy with the systemic approach. First thing that happened was that we were able to stabilize. Nigeria had been going progressively downwards for about a decade, and we were able to stabilize that tide, first of all, at 169, and then our systemic approach going through an action plan. We've had 3 national action plans, which are accelerators that we use to harness particular issues that we want to tackle, and we work with the MDAs to deliver targets based on what private sector have told us, and it's all about delivering impact. It's a journey. We always say it's a marathon, not a sprint, but it's a partnership and a collaboration, not just within the federal government and all the MDAs we work with, but with the National Assembly. We passed 2 legislations together that were signed into law. The National Assembly extremely supportive of the Ease of Doing Business initiative. We work now with the judiciary. I was speaking with you about Lagos State and Kano State judiciary and also the Court of Appeal. We work with private sector. We work with state governments. There's a whole subnational ease of doing business agenda, apart from working with Lagos and Kano states over the last 2 years. Last July, we started working with all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. We presented to the National Economic Council, and the Excellencies thought it was a great idea to replicate what has been achieved at the federal level, at the state level. Of course, some states were already very progressive on ease of doing business, like Kaduna State, like Ogun State.
Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, we thank you for your time today. I'm sure we would want that first anniversary of the executive order. I'm interested in that, in what your report, performance reports will be. So let's get together when the anniversary comes here in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much for being on the program today. A very busy day. Senior Special Advisor to the Vice President on Trade and Investment. Let's take a break. We're back on inflation and the consumers market.